Last time on G&T Sailing, our windlass broke, which required us to figure out how to anchor without it.
Okay.
All right, now you're letting it out. You have full control of it. So I can get to the
Getting heavy. It's getting heavy.
In this episode, we start our windlass troubleshooting journey. Welcome to G&T Sailing. If you're new here, I'm Gretchen and this is Tim. We've spent the last 2 years refitting Felicita, our Catalina 42, and have finally launched our sailing dream. We don't care where we go, we just care that we go, and we're glad you're coming along for the ride. There are these two little groups of baby birds, and they're swimming to each other. They're so cute. I want them to come over here. So now this big group is drifting toward another little group. And now it looks like they're playing a game of Red Rover, Red Rover. Today is windlass troubleshooting day. We've posted a question on a few different forums. I've gotten a lot of ideas. The first thing we are going to do is check the electrical connections to make sure that there aren't any corroded wires. To get access to the windlass, we have to empty that hanging locker and then remove that panel. So that's all emptied, ready for Tim.
F1, F2, and positive. So, must be forward and reverse, maybe? What does it say?
9.3, 9.6.
Maybe we should check the voltage right at the motor.
So do we just take the chain off the Gypsy and push the buttons?
Yeah, absolutely. The chain, is it off now, or?
I can't remember if we had it off or on. You want me to go up there? So the voltage was reading like 9 and it should have been 13.
Well, it was 12 something up here, but it's 13-ish at the battery.
So do you have to be careful where you put the grease?
No, it just needs to be all over. Just all it does is protect it from water. It stops that corroding. This is where it's hard to be leaning in here.
Well, bad news in windlass land.
The electrical connections on the reversing switch, the solenoid, were very corroded, so I took them apart. I started one at a time. First one went fine, and the second one I cleaned it and went to put it back together. The bolt that clamps on or screws on to the solenoid terminal was completely stripped out, and the threads on the nut that receives the bolt were all stripped out, so the thing is shot. It's so corroded that we can't tighten it up. And we did check, did you get that on film, that we checked the voltages and it was much lower? So we do think that is the problem, but we do not have a reversing solenoid. So I mean, maybe I could jury rig it and do one speed, you know, one direction, just hardwire it in. But which direction would we use? Down or up or whatever? I don't know whether that's worth it or not. So we're gonna go without a windlass. We made a reservation at a marina. So we're gonna bypass all the stuff we were gonna see, go right to Santa Rosalia. I mean, ideally, we've got to call into San Carlos, which is our end destination. So if that works out, we'll just cross and sail. I don't know how far it is, 75, 80 miles.
Yeah. All it means is that we're skipping Bahia Concepcion. So we can hit that next year. And if we get to San Carlos sooner, that just means we have more time to get ready to haul out. We have more time to connect with the canvas maker, the stainless guy. So it may turn out that this is actually
It's not bad at all.
better.
Well, and the reason we're doing this is because we don't want to manually lower and raise the anchor. I mean, we could do it, but it was a little hairy yesterday, and it's gonna be a hassle with all that. We have 200 feet of chain, so I've got this old anchor road here, and just gonna, you know, tie a rolling hitch onto the chain, and we can pull it up, run it back to here, put it on a winch, and just slowly pull it up. Then dropping is the reverse of all that. So,
and the dropping is more fraught. It's because of gravity is like takes it all.
well, yeah, you'd have to wrap it around a winch and control it going down and move the rolling hitch, and we can only do 30 feet at a time, the length of the boat here from the winch, and we could do it, but why put ourselves through it? So we're just bailing out and going to a marina. Shame on us, I think, because we bought a new windlass
We just
and we chose not to buy the solenoid. And here we are. This is a harsh, harsh environment. Everything corrodes. Gotta stay on top of it always. And we knew it was a little corroded when we changed the windlass. We cleaned up the terminal.
Clean up the corrosion on the controller.
I think, did yours come with a new controller?
No.
Yeah, so you clean up the controller and then end up getting you a mini spare for when that does drop out, you have one.
That was a good catch to keep it clean.
Well, right now where it's sitting, it sits under the windlass, so every time it leaks, it drained on top of everything. Instead of being off to the side, it would never have corrosion.
Back in and thought, oh, we'll deal with that later. And this is what happens
later. Okay, so the saga of our windlass woes continue. We've made the decision that we're going to stay in San Juanico until Sunday because we were able to change our reservation in the marina in San Carlos so we can get there earlier. It's currently Wednesday and our reservation in the marina starts on Monday the 24th. So we have to be in a spot that's a good spot to be in between now and when we leave on Sunday to sail the 100 miles to San Carlos. And we need to be in a spot that when we manually haul up the anchor on Sunday, we're in a good position to do that slowly and methodically since we don't have a windlass. The first factor is on Thursday and Friday, which is tomorrow and the next day. That's when the next north winds are going to be blowing through the Sea of Cortez. And so when we determined that the windlass was toast, we were anchored at the south end of San Juanico, which has been fine for the last couple of nights, but that's not going to be a good place to be in these north winds because it's totally exposed and with a lee shore. So we were anchored right down here in the southern portion of San Juanico. And now you can see where the black boat right there, that's where we're anchored now. So when we woke up this morning, we had an opportunity to manually haul up the anchor and move to the north end of this bay, which is about 1.5 miles. So there's no wind this morning. So it was a very calm, easy day to do this without, any drama because it's a slow process to do it all manually and make sure that our fingers and toes are safe. That is the plan. We're gonna haul the anchor up, motor on up to the north end of the anchorage, set the anchor, and then hopefully hunker down in this spot until we leave on Sunday around 3 o'clock-ish.
Take that carabiner off.
Uh-huh.
You're going to crank back to there. Then I'm going to put the carabiner back on. Then I'm going to move the rolling hitch back up here.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take that off and you're going to crank it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that over and over again until the anchor's up.
Yep. And then what?
Then we're going to drive over there and pick our spot.
Yep.
And then once we get to our spot,
Uh-huh.
we're going to put the rolling hitch on as far back as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to drop it. And we can only drop it this much. Alright, I'm going to give give it a tug and see what happens?
Yeah, I need to get our headphones.
Can we just give it a tug first?
Oh, okay.
A little more.
Good?
Little more. Yeah, I think it's gonna be all right.
So I'm continuing to crank.
Back up here. I might need a little more room than that to take the rolling hitch off. Can you ease it a little? Okay. Snug it out.
Yep, ready?
Snug it.
Okay, coming in. Okay, we made it to
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
the north end of San Juanico, and we are anchored in 22 feet. How did that go?
I think it went great. What do you think?
Well, I can tell you I wouldn't want to have to do that very often. I mean, it went great.
It wasn't so bad. I wouldn't
No.
mind doing it. But
It wasn't bad, but we had no wind, so we were able to go really, like, I would hate to do that in 18 knots of wind.
yeah, it would be a little more tedious because you'd want to get the anchor out. Pulling it up wouldn't be that bad because the only difference is you just have to get on the helm and go forward. As soon as we see the 30-foot mark, you could start driving forward. Then we could,
Yeah.
or at least put it in gear.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be horrible.
Bringing it up in heavy in wind wouldn't be as bad, but putting it down in wind with other boats around, I mean, we'd manage it, but it would be, I would want to do it a lot, I guess. I would say carry spares for your windlass. Carry every spare you can imagine.
Or buy a windlass with a manual operation. I still do not understand why we can't manually operate that windlass. It blows my mind
Yeah.
that there's no such thing as a manual windlass for this
For
boat.
this boat. Yeah.
Maybe we ought to start looking into that because this is ridiculous.
I did before we bought this one, but maybe I never found one that would fit in our
Anyway,
footprint.
we manualed it up for ourselves. Learn how to tie a rolling hitch.
Yeah.
Very important.
VIP on Felicita today is the rolling hitch.
So we moved to the north end of San Juanico, which is the end that has more stuff. There's a lot more boats down here. From getting off the boat and exploring, I think there's lots to do here. So today we're just going to do a bit of a walkabout.
Dinghy about.
A dinghy about. I really like catamaran people that park in the shallow spots, leaving the less shallow spots for the monohulls. I always appreciate that. Thanks, catamarans. When you're tired of living on the boat, you can just move into one of those houses, I guess. You having fun? Well, shall we cut over there and see, kind of go?
You want to go over there?
Oh, you want to? Good. I always like it if Tim wants to have a good explore.
We'll see you next time as we get off the boat and stretch our legs and continue chasing our windlass woes. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you catch all the episodes of our first season cruising in Mexico. And head over to Instagram for real-time updates. Check out our tracker and more details about our cruising life at gntsailing.com. We'll catch you next time.
Mexico is Sexico!